Hi friends, train your mind to see the good in everything. Positivity is a choice. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Welcome all to another episode of our online class. Last class we were discussing O. Henry's short story, The Last Leaf. In this story, we all knew John C. and Sue, they were thick friends, and John C. was suffering from pneumonia and she had a pessimistic approach to life. She believes when the last leaf on the next block of the road falls, she will die. An ivy creeper there on the next block, and when the last leaf on that ivy creeper falls, she will die. That was her belief. And Sue came to know about this, and she informed this the old painter, an unsuccessful painter. His name was Berman. Now, and by the way, only one leaf left there in that ivy creeper, and that evening John C. thought, tomorrow sure, no doubt that last leaf will fall and I will die. But what happened? When the next morning, when it was Sue first drew the curtains and she looked through the window, she was really surprised. She exclaimed, "Oh!" And then, "Look, there is still one leaf on the creeper. It looks quite green and healthy. In spite of the storm and the fierce winds, it didn't fall." Sue was happy because John C. thought when the last leaf falls, she will die. That's why Sue said to John C., "Look, there is still one leaf in the ivy creeper. On the creeper, it looks quite green and healthy. The leaf still, it looks quite green and healthy. In spite of the storm and the fierce winds, it didn't fall." Hey John C., in spite of all these fierce storm and winds, still it didn't fall. "I heard the wind last night," said John C. "I thought it would have fallen. It will surely fall today. Then I will die." Still, John C. is pessimistic in a way of negative thinking. She is thinking negatively. Still she said, "I heard the wind last night," said John C. "Yeah, Sue, I heard the wind last night. It was fierce and strong. I thought it would have fallen. I thought the leaf would have fallen. Sure, it will surely fall today and then I will die." John C. said to Sue, "Today, you just wait. Today, this last leaf will definitely fall and then I will die." "You won't die," said Sue energetically. "You have to live for your friends. What would happen to me if you die?" Sue said to her friend John C., "You won't die, John C. You don't need to worry. You have to live for your friends." "Hey John C., you have to live for your friends. What would happen to me if you die? Have you ever thought about me? What would happen to me if you die?" John C. smiled weakly and closed her eyes. John C. was so weak because of her illness, and she smiled weakly and closed her eyes. And after every hour or so, she would look out of the window and find the last leaf still there. It seemed to be clinging to the creeper. So after every hour or so, she would look out of the window and find the last leaf is still there. And it seemed to be clinging to the creeper. It seemed to be clinging to the creeper. Still, it's there in the creeper. In the evening, There was another storm, but the leaf did not fall. That evening, there was another heavy storm, but the leaf didn't fall. John C. lay for a long time looking at the leaf. So John C. she lay in the bed for a long time and looking at the leaf. Then she called out to Sue. So many thoughts passed through her mind. And at last she called, Sue, please come here. And said, I have been a bad girl. You have looked after me so lovingly, and I have not cooperated with you. I have been depressed and gloomy. The last leaf has shown me how wicked I have been. I have realized that it's a sin to want to die. So now John C. realized her fault. That's why, because that last leaf on that ivy creeper, it's still there clinging to the creeper plant, that actually made a sort of confidence in John C.'s mind. That's why she called Sue and said, I have been a bad girl. You have looked after me. You have cared me, or you have really served me or nursed me so lovingly, and I have not cooperated with you. I have been depressed and gloomy. Now I comes to know I have depressed and gloomy, and the last leaf has shown me how wicked I have been. Actually, that last leaf that leaf taught me a lesson, and that showed me how wicked, how bad I am, or I have been. I have realized that it's a sin to want to die. So now I have realized that it's a sin to want to die. Okay, Sue hugged John C. Sue was quite happy. She hugged John C. Then she gave her lots of hot soup and a mirror. Then Sue gave John C. lots of hot soup and then a mirror. John C. combed her hair and smiled brightly. And she looked into that mirror, and then she combed her hair and she smiled brightly. After many days, so many days, John C. smiled brightly. In the afternoon, the doctor came. After examining his patient, he told Sue, John C. now has the will to live. I am confident she will recover soon. Now I must go downstairs and see Berman. He is also suffering from pneumonia, but I am afraid there is no hope for him. Now we are into the O. Henry twist. The end of the story, unexpected ending. So in the afternoon, the doctor came. After examining his patient, he told Sue, now John C. has the will to live. You don't need to worry, Sue. Now John C. has the will to live. I am confident she will recover soon. I am confident, 100% sure she will recover soon. Now I must go downstairs and see Berman. So now I must go downstairs and see Berman, the old painter. You know, he is also suffering from pneumonia. But the thing is, I'm afraid there is no hope for him. His condition is very critical, very serious. So the next morning, Sue came and sat on John C.'s bed, taking John C.'s hand in hers, and she said. So the next day, Sue came and sat on John C.'s bed, and taking her hand in hers and said, I have something to tell you. Mr. Berman died of pneumonia this morning. So a shocking news. She said, John C., Mr. Berman died of pneumonia this morning. He was ill for only 2 days. He was ill only for 2 days. The first day, the janitor found him on his bed. The very first day, the janitor means the man whose job is to look after a building. The janitor who saw he was ill and his clothes and shoes were wet and he was shivering. At that time, Berman's clothes and shoes were wet and he was also shivering. He had been out in that stormy night. Why? Because he had been out in that rainy, stormy night. He was not there in his room. He was out. Then they found a ladder and a lantern still lighted lying near his bed. Then the janitor found a ladder and a lantern still lighted lying near his bed, which means last night he was busy in doing something. There were also some brushes and green and yellow paints on the floor near the ladder. Now, here comes the twist. Johnsy said, and there were also some brushes, painting brushes, and green and yellow color paints on the floor near the ladder. Green and yellow color. Now, Johnsy dear, says you, look out of the window. You just take a look out of the window. Look at that ivy leaf. Is it still there? Look. Haven't you wondered why it doesn't flutter when the wind blows? Haven't you wondered? If you ever wondered why the leaf doesn't flutter when the wind blows? You know one thing, that is Berman's masterpiece. We all know Berman was an unsuccessful painter, but before his death, he painted his masterpiece because the ivy leaf on the other block, yes, he painted in the night, the last leaf fell. The janitor found Berman, his room, and his clothes and shoes were wet. Then ladder, lantern, then the colors green and yellow, then painting brush. That means the night only one leaf left, the ivy creeper, and Johnsy thought the next day she will die when the last leaf fell. Last leaf fall. And that evening or that night, this painter Berman, who went there and he saw the last leaf had already fallen. And then what he did? He painted an ivy leaf there. It looks real. And in a way, that last leaf saved Johnsy's life. So we can call it a masterpiece of Berman. And he sacrificed his life for this young lady. That's why he got pneumonia and he couldn't survive. So there ends the story, The Last Leaf. It's a beautiful story. We can find out several themes in this. One is friendship, and the other is selflessness, then sacrifice. Friendship between Johnsy and Sue. Then selflessness of, again, Johnsy is selfless. Then Berman, no doubt he is selfless. And then sacrifice. That's why he sacrificed his life for that young lady, Johnsy. So Just like Jesus Christ, he was crucified. The crucifixion of Jesus Christ is actually a kind of sacrifice. Actually, he sacrificed his life for our own sins, the sins of mankind. So it was a beautiful story written by O. Henry alias William Sidney Potter. Friends, I remember last class I asked the question, the pseudonym or the pen name of Agatha Christie. She wrote 6 novels in that by using that pseudonym, and the name is Mary Westmacott. Mary Westmacott. I have got many correct answers, and today my question is, we have studied the story the last leaf. It's a short story by O. Henry, but there was a poem in the very same name, The Last Leaf, published in the 1890s, I think in 1895. An American poet wrote this poem. Actually, he was not a poet by profession. Find out who wrote the poem, The Last Leaf, and send me the answer. Until then, this is Anish. Thank you and have a nice day.